Hey golfers, do you find your drive taking you off course? This is a very common thing, and as a golfer, you've probably heard the term slice, maybe a hook. Either way, it's not a fun thing, especially if you're trying to win the game, right? So when we look at our golf swing, what I'm going to do is break it down and keep it simple for you. There's a lot of moving pieces in the body, and that's what we want to identify here, but also to identify which pieces aren't moving like they should be. So there's three main areas that I want to focus on, and that's going to be the ankles, the hips, and your rib cage in the thoracic region. So if you can get this down, it makes a big game changer in the way you drive the ball. This is going to keep you on course in the direction you want to go. So we're just going to go through a quick swing here. Everyone's got their own swing. They've got their own patterns that they want to go through. But I'm going to relate this back to your hand dominance and why this is such a big thing. So when you're going in your golf swing and you do your grip, as you go through the swing, you're going to see here, as I bring the head of the golf club back, I've got a lot of rotation going on. The ankles, the hips, the rib cage, the full body. And so what happens is we don't sometimes think about which areas that are restricted, meaning our body's good at compensating. So we have different movements throughout the body that can maybe rotate or counter-rotate that throws us off direction as we bring actually the club head back through to hit the ball. So depending on our alignment and then the speed of the movement that we go, it may keep us in line or may throw us off course. So what I want to do is break it down here. I'm right-handed. Depending on your hand dominance will depend on actually your discrepancies as far as where you're limited in your movement. So with right-handed, typically we're going to have a little bit of a swing of rotation in the pelvis that keeps us locked up. There's a counter rotation that goes up top for the rib cage, the shoulder, also a counter rotation in the legs that throws us off course. So what we're going to do is start breaking it down. Which areas of the body are not quite moving like they should? Because if we can restore some of that movement, then we can restore alignment, which is the key to your swing. So what I'll look at here is a difference of standing. So we'll go ahead and try this if you want to. Keep your hips, knees slightly bent, take pressure off the back. Cross your arms, and we're going to do some rotation here. Just seeing how far you can go, just simple. Rotating those shoulders, how much that rib cage opens up. Now, that's your rib cage mobility included with the hip. Let's take the hips out, for example, and let's go to a half nail position. Here in the half nail, what I'm doing, hips and knees about 9 degrees, locking that pelvis. So this is not moving down here. I've taken out the movement at the hips and also the ankles. So now we're just focused on your rib cage up top. Now try to do that movement. You may notice a lot less movement, also difference left versus right. So when we're trying to identify the areas that may not be quite moving as well, that's affecting us on the swing or throwing us off, what we want to identify are the main players that aren't moving quite as well. We can do this with the ankles, we can do this assessment with the hips, and then we can also do it like we just did right now with focused on the upper body, which is the rib cage. When these areas are not moving quite like they should be, then what ends up happening is it offsets the way our pattern is going back, or we end up compensating in different parts of the body. Thus, as we go through the full swing and then try to follow through with the club head, we're way off course. So when it comes to really identifying why your golf swing is off or maybe why you're not hitting the ball quite like you should, there's three things you want to look at. Is position as far as our alignment, what joints aren't moving, our ability to go through the actual swing itself, and then also the speed. When you bring it all together though, really the main thing is understanding what areas of the body are not quite moving like they should. And that being said, it's better to tee up the body before teeing up the ball.